candle that was. That was mostly painless. That's awesome. Mostly painless. We've got 4 minutes until market open. I'm gonna minimize this. Get out of this. I know. I just like to monologue. It's fun. It's funner than, doing it when I'm by myself. So, risk disclaimer, you guys already know what you don't know. You guys know all of this because you do know, right? Don't risk what you can't afford to lose. I believe this stuff is very possible. I just think most people assume it's going to cost less, way less than it does. And I think most people assume it's going to happen way faster than it happens, right? If we can take those two truths and just accept them and stop trying to, get the bajillion% on the tiny account, trying to do it too fast, right? Stop thinking it's going to cost way less than it does. Well, hey, I spent $200, so I didn't make 1 million. I'm going to quit. If we can get rid of those two thought processes, honestly, trading and investing, probably one of the easier business models. Psychologically damaging, probably need therapy, but other than that part, it's going to help you grow as a person. I believe in this industry so much. I know it's a vehicle that can change a lot of people's lives. So if you guys don't know what you don't know, please check out this link tree. Check out the website. We should have the prop firm stuff up there and live as well, coming soon if it's not already. But what is it? Funding Ticks has probably one of the cheaper accounts right now. Dashboard's really cool. 50 bucks an account, no activation fee. So the discount code to that is in the members chat. I'll get it posted in the announcement chat as well. And double check it's on the link tree. But definitely check them out. Otherwise, I mean, I wish I was fibbing when I said Take Profit Trader is just, it's the best one. Like, because payouts are easy. There's no caps on this. There's a lot of stuff you don't know in terms of when you switch from Pro to Pro Plus. But or hey, when you're in the Pro, you don't have the same trailing drawdown features that you did in the eval. But once you get back to Pro Plus, you do. I know there's all those little things you got to know. And that's up to you to know them. But otherwise, easy way to kind of take a very small amount of money and make a couple of $1,000s a month if you're trading reasonably, and otherwise a huge amount of money if you're trading kind of aggressively. So that's everything that we need to go over. And now on to our
Excuse
charts.
me.
Yep.
Excuse me, Jenny. Are we going to pray this morning?
Good morning, Miss Barbara. Yes, ma'am. Let's check our hearts and then we'll get started. I did the recording. I did all the things.
Yes, you did.
Thank you. I'm so sorry.
It's good. Father, in the name of Jesus, Lord, we come before you, Father, thanking you, Lord, for all that you do and continue to do in our lives. We thank you, Father, for your Holy Spirit that continues to guide us, Lord. We thank you, Father, that you said that every good gift comes from you, Lord, and we know that we can trust you, Father. We can have faith in you, Father, because you are a faithful God. We thank you, Father, for this session. Thank you for your guidance. We thank you for your protection. We give you praise in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen, Miss Barbara. Thank you for checking me and checking me.
You're welcome.
Sometimes my brain is doing all the braining, but we've got to check ourselves first. So on that note, amen. And let's take a look. Let's talk about the markets. We've got 1 minute until market opens, but that's okay. I'm going to do my best to sit on my hands. Not easy because I feel like that first 60 seconds sometimes is a really easy way to go get that 10 points. So gold, we're still sitting above pre-market low, below yesterday's high, pre-market high, and we're right here in this messy middle. So nice big candle. We've already retested 50% of that. If we're gonna go take new highs, so we already know. We talked about this level before it happened. And what happened is just it took time to get here, but this was the area of interest, right? And that's where we're at. So either way, kind of cool. There goes NQ just taken out. I'm not probably gonna be trading gold, so I'm not gonna go over that much more. Market is open and we are booming up. This is the hourly chart. We have come down to retest more than 50% of this candle, but we haven't really fulfilled this entire imbalance. It doesn't mean we have to though. So of course, if we're moving up, this is the 4 hour time frame. I'm going to go down to the 1 hour. I was on that because of the 4 hour view. We do have an imbalance all the way up here to kind of break pre-market high, take this. But if we're taking this, in my opinion, we're going to be looking at these bigger highs, right? Otherwise, we've got this huge move to the upside that we're happening now during opening bell, but it's being all given back. I think we still have a little bit more to the downside to grab. If nothing else, just to take pre-market kind of overnight high. This is overnight high. This is pre-market, sorry, overnight low, pre-market low. And that's what I'm looking to see. So that was a nice candle that pushed up. I'm going to go all the way down to the 2 minute and turn our indicators back on. I'm really glad that I'm sitting on my hands because on that 1 minute it was like boom, boom. Well, that's a lot. It's a lot on the table. Big wick to the upside. And here we go. Second candle is also incredibly bullish. And no, I'm not in this. I am not in that. Yesterday's close is here. Pre-market high is here. We're likely going to tap that, and we need to move aggressively away from that before we're going to take a trade because this is a lot to digest. It's a big trade. Last week, I technically was positive. I need to get all that posted in 6FTC too. I was technically positive points wise because of the two NQ trades on Tuesday, but net negative in terms of dollars. Because remember, that second NQ trade didn't mirror to all the accounts. So that's real trading. It's not always as cut and dry, especially if you're trading a multitude of accounts. So last week was a fun week for me, but I was kind of focused on other things anyways. So I definitely want to play it intelligently. I'm not going to say cautious. I'm going to say just intelligent. I took very little. I think I got on the day yesterday, 3-4 grand, something like that between all the accounts, so not very much at all. And that is just taking off. It is gone. Got our 2 minute breakout there. Kind of a very big range. 2 minute range is formed and we're breaking out. But we're breaking out right at this pre-market high. That's our pre-market high. Minute and a half left. Can you take this? Yes. But the problem is this is a big range. So if you're taking this, this is something I did wrong last week. If the range is that big, I really need to move to micros. I can't be trading and, ES and NQ, multiple contracts, by the way, when the range is this big. So paying attention to that ATR, which is much harder to do on the futures front, as opposed to like where I come from on the Forex, gotta pay attention to that. So let's see. I want to check ES too. So we wicked out. ES. ES may be easier trade up to at least yesterday's closing price. A little bit more digestible. NQ, we're above yesterday's closing price. And currently we're kind of respecting pre-market high as well. So I'm taking one of these positions. Gold is still sitting in that range. And ES is just, come on. Move the box. It's not going to move. Easy into that. I'm going to give this 50% of the range and no more. Not an ounce more. Waiting for this. We've got a bullish candle, a bearish candle forming. So I'm going to hopefully let this pull down just a smidge and then start trailing up a buying ES. So I'm only one contract. And in theory, it should all be mirroring properly, but we'll see. Also, all of the copying softwares don't love, getting a little bit better than that. Hold on. So here, if we get a close below the 50%, I want to get out. So I don't mind if we wick all the way down into this area. I'm okay with that. But I want to be kind of trailing and watching this kind of 50% as my mental stop loss with a hard stop loss. 6448. That's just looking like we might hit 6448. If we get a huge aggressive move away from this, I would love to take out those lows, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. This is our first, 5-minute candle has just now formed. That's our first 5-minute candle. Yes. This is our 5-minute target. I'm definitely locking, scaling, or trailing as we get close to yesterday's, because NQ overnight has taken this, kind of tapped into that area already once, whereas ES hasn't. ES has stayed away, so still holding. I had just moved mine to 6448 before. Oh, I was like, where'd my other broker go? Right here. Don't like how she's stalling. I really would have wanted this to just take off if we were going to trade the momentum.
For Ricky traders, this railroad track that's forming here in the 5 minute is coinciding with a 4 hour 9.
Oh my goodness. Hold on. Gotta turn this off. And the VWAP for sure. Back to the 2 minute, put this back on, this back on. We're still live on this candle. We're still technically kind of staying above that 50% of this range, but not by much. 7 seconds, and it looks like we're going to close below it. We close there. Hard stop at the 48s. I'd love this to push back up. It's going to be stupid for me to get stopped out, but it's part of trading. Never the fun part. No, we're going to lose it. I can give it a smidge past that zone, but there's no sense in that. I will go look at NQ here in a second. Let's just wait for ES to finish playing out, see what it's going to do. I'd really like it, but I think if we're already pushing down this far, we're going to come take these lows. So we'll see. And its Q's failing to get low. We're still kind of respected in that. So yeah, just last week I was showing Rosie, I was like, look, I love swing trading. I love taking a trade and like going on with my life. And it's not even like true swing trading. It's very peaceful to me. This, like watching the charts, and I showed her, I was like, this is Monday, this is Tuesday, this is Wednesday, this was Thursday, and this was Friday. Tuesday and Thursday last week were just like chop fest, up and down, up and down, up and down. Monday wasn't too much different actually. But then go look at Wednesday and Friday, it was like every single play was an amazing play, no pullbacks, no wicks, no nonsense, no drama. I was like, seriously? And I wasn't really trading too much on Friday. I did catch the the NQ move on one account, like not mirrored to a lot of them. Um, because I wasn't trading, I was working on automation stuff. I was working all day. So, yep, it's just real life, sadly, sometimes. We're still technically respecting this area, not loving the lack of follow through. We respected that VWAP a little bit. We're getting back above that moving average. We've got a minute and a half left on this 2 minute 20 moving average. A little bit of space. See, if I had taken this on NQ, I can't hold that whole loop. Or I gotta take MNQ. I really should have re-entered back in as we kind of broke above that area. but there's still not a lot of follow through. We would have wanted this to push harder, faster, but there's a lot of people trying to buy, especially with everything going on this week. If everybody wants to buy, what's the market going to do? It's going to try to dupe us out and sell. At least take the lows, knock out all the buyers, and then make its move on the day. I think the hardest part is being, and Jonathan mentioned this last week, like, I think the hardest part, one of the hardest parts for me is being right on the direction and still not catching the move, not, getting knocked out. And it's not even that your entry was bad. It just, wicks around first. It just sweeps a level first. They're trying. Just like watching paint dry. So just watching paint dry. I'm gonna go take a look at see what my automation is doing. Oh my God. I don't know what this just did. Okay, it did a lot of things. Let's find out what those were. Nice. It did a lot of things. So this is what I've been doing, is not trying to go for results. I'm trying to make sure it's following the rules that we're trying to set to say, hey, is it functioning the way we want to function? So I'm not trying to print results right now. And I'm picking literally any random time that I possibly can that's within the next amount of hours, going in and kind of watching how it trades, watching that it's opening and closing as expected and doing all the things. So that's really been the only mission is it functioning as expected like we're looking for? And then over and over again. So we'll see. I had it programmed for 9, not 9:30. And because 9:30, that candle is when it wicked around. We're trying. We got back up-ish. The NQ is wicking down too. Anyways, so we got back up. I do want to see when we got back up. This is the candle that broke. That, so we got in. Not bad. Don't love how NQ is coming down. So as if ES starts to pull down, take your very, very sizable loss because we just saw what NQ did. But it's going to be up to you. So now as you're in profit, break even-ish, negligible, negative, positive, let's watch how this candle forms. We've got 30 seconds left. We really want to see this follow through and at least take this yesterday's close. And we're getting it. It's not doing much. Very slow. And there's no reason for us to let this pull back a whole bunch like NQ did. NQ still respecting that. We've got the 15-minute range now formed. With the spring to the upside having cleared yesterday's close. 5-minute has now given us, oh no, we're gonna have to do this.
Yeah, that was that Asian high that it just tested, and then I was pulling back on that. So I wonder if it's going to try and test the area where it dropped yesterday during Asian.
I think it's gonna try to take the lows. I try to be patient and hold. We've got 30 seconds left. Hold on. 5-minute time frame. We haven't even broke out of the 5-minute range, guys.
Well, no major news going on today as well. So
But isn't there earnings and stuff this week, or what's going on with like Apple and Nvidia and all the Mag 7?
Good question. I don't know off the top of my head.
I think earnings season is winding down.
Mm.
Well, wait, what does Nvidia have this week? Nvidia has something big this week, don't they? They have an announcement or something? You guys know I don't know. So if I'm wrong, you guys, it's totally fine.
Oh, no, they do have earnings tomorrow.
But I think the problem with that is Nvidia is so, I think so much of it's already baked in, you know? All right, guys, we're getting back to the 50%. NQ is losing it. And I'm gonna get out. Like, I don't want to close presumptuously, but NQ just lost it. I'm out. Couple of points. That's stupid. But we tried. I could have maybe protected a break even-ish, but there was just no reason for me to be. So we just took a sell on my automation and knocked out already. Good job for NQ. Well, that was lovely. Good job, guys. We can now try ES to the downside, but honestly, ES has not taken the highs. So it's going to be, this is the slower moving of all of them. So take that with a grain of salt. We just got below 15 seconds left. We're still inside that range. We're below the moving average.
Right around the VWAP right now.
I know we've got this one. So let's see. I'm not looking for a lot. I would like to just get, even swipe those lows would be lovely. NQ made a nice move. Same 2-minute range. We've already taken the low. I swear if this pops back up. Okay, come on, we're gonna give it the range. I shouldn't swear. Where's my entry? 1.5 and draw down for 48.25. Robert, what I'm working on is I need to pay better attention to this right here, which helps if I'm only trading NQ. But either way, I've got to pay better attention to this because if the range is too large, I need to go to a micro, like for MNQ specifically, because then I can't hold the position long enough to like capitalize on the trade. Then I have to exit. And that's just the worst feeling is when you're right on the trade and get it and still get net negative. That sucks so much.
That's a big challenge when you're trying to trade 15 because these ranges a lot of times will be a lot bigger. And when you have those really big candles, you can't really trail by candle, otherwise you lose everything. So I'm trying to trail by half a candle, depending on how big it is. If it's really big, I'd try to do 3/4 of a candle. It's just, it's a challenge. That's all I can say.
Well,
Well,
when you've been doing the 15, have you been holding for like a little bit longer, sometimes even to the end of the session, depending if it's trending in your direction?
Well, I tried to trade the 2 minute like Jenny did a minute ago, and that didn't work too good. But I just entered on 15 because it just dropped below. Um, I forgot where I was going.
well, wait, you were on gold? Just so you know,
No,
Robert.
MES.
Oh, gotcha. From now, granted, guys, this is going to be preliminary. So even my meetings with my developers, we use the word, God, what was it? I don't even remember now. Sorry, there goes my brain. But we are speculating. That's the word. We are speculating on a lot, okay? But speculatively speaking, gold performs really, really good on a lot of the different programmable sessions. It performs really, really good. Now, granted, remember, there are some limitations to that backtest because it's going off of active candle. It can't go off of candle close. Like, so there's definitely some limitations that, are worth noting. But gold is, I'm optimistic. Now, granted, I also can't get gold to take the right contract for some ungodly reason. It keeps switching from the V to the Z to the whatever. I know that we just switched contracts, so that's been problematic, but I'm talking the 2 minute, the 5 minute. In my opinion, the 15 minute, if you're not doing like Robert was not Robert, but Jonathan was just saying, is a really big range. If you're not capitalizing on the move of the day kind of concept, I think the 15 is very high. If you're trying to also manage on the 15. I mean, this moment is perfect, go figure.
A perfect example of what I was talking about a minute ago. It did an entry, it went down some, and it actually retraced all the way back 33 ticks within seconds. And that's a challenge.
Yeah. That's no fun at all.
One thing I've noticed with the 15 is that when I've traded it, like even if you do, you have to be really careful with your sizing, especially if you're trading an instrument. Like I'll use Nasdaq for example because that's what I would be most familiar with. Um, 1 micro, depending on the range, like even on like a medium day where the ATR is like, it's just like basic, not really overly extended or anything like that, you're probably going to be looking anywhere from 50 points to about 80, 100, 120. So even if you're doing like 80, for example, at 50 points, excuse me, if you're doing like 50 points and you're using that as your stop loss for the actual range of your 15-minute entry, just with 1 micro, you're looking at that's $100, right? With 2 micros, that's I think that should be about a $200 range because that's $4 for each point that is moving. So that's where you have to be careful with. So if you have something in the 80s and then you have, 1 micro stuff, that's a $200 stop loss. If you have 2 micros, that's closer to a 360, somewhere around that type of stop loss. 3 micros, that's about 500 plus dollars. You know what I mean? So
Mm.
that's like half of the trailing drawdown that you're allotted on a 50K account. So that's where you have to be careful at. And it could be very advantageous too. Like if you say, hey, I'm fine with having my 4 shots and then, making a big chunk out of my combine if this does go in my direction, but you have to hold that for the day because it can pull back quite a bit, almost touch your stop loss and then not touch your stop loss and then go into the direction and hit full target.
And when you're swinging that big too, you have to watch out for your consistency rules.
Yes.
I honestly think, as I talk out loud, and I just took 2 ES losses, which is great for our point spreadsheet, but again, I'm down 373 on the day. Okay. Um, and that's the biggest amount I'm down per any account. I think what I would do instead of going to ES on days like this where the range is just bigger than I'm willing to digest is maybe just go to micros on NQ. Because going back and forth, I'm very used to how this moves. So even this, based off of my management, this is a 2 minute time frame, would have got me some points and got me out. So even that would have, because my stuff starts within 13 points, and there's always a little bit of a variance there. But even this would have got me some points and gotten out if I just set my micro whatever to my micro trailing stuff on Tradingview. I think that's what I'm gonna need to do because going to ES, I technically was up, what, 4 points, give or take? Was up a little bit before then, close to 4 points.
One
Oh,
thing I've noticed I'm tracking on 15 so far, every time but one time,
which is one
when
ATR.
you enter a trade and it retracts back 50%, every time so far but one, it's always retraced all the way back to 100%. So a little bit more testing, and it may be beneficial. Just need to always use that 50% line as a stop loss when I first enter.
For the 15-minute range?
Yeah, 15.
Yeah.
And going back to what he was talking about a minute ago, I've had ranges so big on 15 before where I had it set at the 50% level, and I entered and it retraced back and lose 150 bucks. That's just half the range.
That's wild.
And it's this thing where it wicks into a trade and immediately reverses his stop loss. I don't have an answer for that. I don't know if there's anything I can do about it.
No, because, well, wait, losing is part of a winning strategy, and it's hard. I know that's hard to digest. It's hard to stomach because you're thinking, like, take today, okay? This is NQ. Let's go to ES. It's up and down, up and down, and up and down. There's not a lot we can do. I mean, could we have sat on our hands? So here, just like telling you my thought process too. I could have been trading just JGS, and that means I would have bought literally before the market opened, got what I got, and then been out. And because, bigger stop loss, I'd still be in, right? Potentially on that buy. That's an option. Even on the 2-minute, I could do that. But if I'm honestly trading the breakout strategy, this is just chopped up. That's what it did. Was it? And we tried to be patient. We waited a little bit, so I didn't just take in on the first entry out. Was fine. We failed to take yesterday's close. I don't think the logic was bad to come, okay, let's go take pre-market lows. But we just didn't even get the full extension in either direction. Instead, we got the chop. And on days like this, and I think that's what's cool about automation. So I think there's going to be a lot of tweaks and a lot of things that we have to digest. And I know that's not the great sales pitch, but it is the truth, right? But the thing about automation is it takes the emotion out of blah, 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 blah. On the good day, it's good. And on the bad day, it is what it is. You closed red, you closed break even, you closed whatever. And that spreadsheet I created, that little prop firm farming thing that I'm in the works of, I have not sent it to you guys yet. I'm still kind of building it. I built this again for myself because we convince ourselves because again, YouTube, and remember a lot of those people are making multiple 6 and 7 figures through other means. Okay. So it's almost a loss leader. They'll go buy 500 challenges and it's part of their business model. And I'm not knocking it. It's business. Okay. I am a capitalist at heart. I support business, but this is really impressive to say, wait, I'm going to go to $300 at $300 a day, just off of one account, 100%. Well, we are convincing ourselves we need that. We don't. Okay. $300 a day, 3 accounts, assuming you have one losing day every single week, and it's got to be close to equal to the same. That means, again, the one loss is outweighs, the one of the winning days. So that's pretty much like 3 winning days a week. That is not bad. And it's only $300. Okay. Not bad at all. But here's the kicker. I have this as blue because this is kind of where I end up sitting is I average about one losing day a week when I average it out. And it's never, I'll have 2 great weeks in the month, and then I'll have 2 weeks in the month where if I took a loss one day, it's usually the next day I take another loss. So I average about 4, 5 losing days a month. So anyways, this is where I'm at the blue category. But I think what's most impressive is you go one lower and you say, hey, look, what if you won 3 and lost 2 days a week, which is kind of a lot, right? Now, granted, the hardest part is not to go on tilt and give it all back. But if you don't go on tilt and don't give it all back all crazy willy-nilly, this is pretty much equivalent to having one winning day a week, just the one. And because the 2 losses outweigh undo the 2 winning ones, that's still not bad. That's still net profitable. Net profitable is that's not a bad way to be ever. So this kind of helps me put things in perspective, and I need to refer back to that quite often. So I want to be okay. It's not easy to feel okay. I just took 2 losses, stupid losses too. One of them I could have profited. This one really popped into profit. I think not even a whole point. So we have periods like that. It's part of trading.
There's something else I've thought about, but it won't work either. Well, 15, it won't anyway. I thought about instead of entering, like we talked about in our mentorship, entering as soon as it crosses either the green or the orange line, I've I've watched it many times and I've thought about, well, maybe I should wait for the counter to close and then enter on the next one. But the issue with that on 15, I don't know about the other ones, is a lot of times most of your move is already gone by then.
Have you considered, and I've mentioned this to you before, but have you considered, okay, fine, you're trading the 15-minute range, but you can set this box up to be a 15-minute range and then be on the smaller time frame.
Oh,
So
that's, I forgot all about that. I was looking for that, but I didn't know what it was called. What
that
is
might
it?
not be a bad idea because then you're waiting for the candle to close. So you're not taking as many of the fake outs, right?
Can you bring up that menu again?
Absolutely. There you go. So time frame,
Uh,
instead of having
okay.
this chart, just
Oh,
go here and put it at 15. So I can show you what that looks like. 15-minute time frame. Well, obviously, it's going to look the same here. But now if I go to the 5-minute and
that's what I was looking for because I know a lot of people will watch the 2 or 5, but
mhm.
they count the number of candles till it hits 15 and then they start looking.
So this is the 15-minute range viewed on the 2-minute time frame.
Check that out.
We just got another shop day, guys. And we
Yeah,
can't solve
it's
for
too
this.
choppy.
And here's the truth, even with JGS, okay, I don't care if you're trading with the 4-hour one, I don't care which version. The even JGS would chop you up if you tried to enter now, like at market open. Had you entered, so I took a trade at 7 a.m. I got to sell. Um, Trusting the process and I didn't babysit it. It had a 10 point like my trailing stop. So I took this trade, kind of JGS 2-minute style. I mean, I got out probably around here versus catching the whole move because of my trailing stop. But that's fine. If I took it here, which is what, 8:30 as a buy, you would have got chopped up a little bit, but you would have been fine. At 9:30, and I know this is unpopular because everyone on YouTube streams at this time and it's market open and it's sexy and it's amazing and all the volume's here. But this is the moment you're most likely to get chopped up. Take everything from like, not every day, because some days 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. kind of sucks, we'll be honest. But most days, 6 a.m., okay? Hold on. This is
I've
over.
got some of my better trades at 7.
Yeah. Some of my best trades are, well, I'm not up at 4 a.m. Like this is, unless I'm in Europe or something, this is never here for this time. But 6 a, this is 5:45, so that's kind of a retest, a flag, a JGS. This is your retest, okay? Was taught and preached for 7 years-ish, okay? So that's one trade. And around that 6 a.m., this is one trade at 7 a.m. This is 8 a.m. Every one of those are smooth. And I'm not saying they're going to be huge monsters, but yeah, it is what it is. I can't, there's nothing I can do. And me going back in, like I'm very tempted. I might look for one more, but this range is very large. NQ is stuck at yesterday's closing price. I don't personally feel like this low took enough liquidity. Now, if this had like swung down hard, I would feel a lot more confident about taking this up, right? Because we've taken that liquidity. If this had swung down harder and like taken some liquidity, taken out lows, I again would feel much more confident about buying this up now. But oh no, I hate when I do that.
I do have a couple more questions.
Okay, coming up.
On 5 minute like you are now, what would your are you on ES? No.
Oh,
Oh,
no, there you go.
on ES or LES, what would the zone buffer be?
Um, I use ATR buffers because it's
I
always
mean, yeah, I've got ATR. I just don't know what the number should be.
mine is 0.15.
Okay, let me change that while I'm here. Second question. A minute ago when you showed me how to be on the 5 minute chart, but set it on 15, does that mean it won't send any alerts until after the third candle?
I would love to be the voice of knowledge on that, but I would say test it and find out because I'm not using
Okay.
that feature very much. I'm assuming if it works as expected, and remember, this is we're building, we're there's things we don't know, we don't know. But I'm assuming how it should work is if we're trading the 15-minute range, um, and you have it set to only on close, Oh, you guys don't have that setting yet. That's on
Oh, how
automation.
about it? Crap. Oh,
50%.
never mind. When you're talking about setting it on close, I may be
No,
confused.
that's a setting. That's a setting for the automation. So I
Oh,
apologize.
okay.
But you're going to get this alert in a live candle unless you have your alert set to only alert on close. And even then, because this does, close outside of the range, you should get it then also. Because remember, when you set an alert, you can do it retest condition, crossing up, crossing down.
So even now, I'm looking at the 5 minute after we changed the chart time to 15. It would have entered, what time is that? 9:45, it would have entered a sell, and technically it's still active. It still hasn't crossed above the 100% line.
Yeah, technically this would still be active. But this is a crappy range, guys. I wish I could tell you something better and funner and ooh, all the dollar bills, but it's just not there.
It is
Well,
what
the
it
other thing
is.
that other thing that occurs to me is that if you are paying attention to what the YouTube videos, all the gurus are talking about right now, it seems like every other video is opening range breakout. Now, that might be my algorithm feeding me something, but I would bet you that the big institutions pay attention to what the retail traders are doing
And they
and
changed
say,
their strategy.
let's go mess with them.
Yeah.
And we're even if we take the nefarious side out of it, here's the reality. We are their liquidity. So if they know, and you're right, because again, we were talking about quote breakout and then orb went viral or went viral before I even had this thing fully finishly built, but it is what it is. So I super agree with that. I am a very big advocate of using literally this strategy and this indicator at 2:30 p.m., 12:30 p.m. I programmed it for 3:50 just to see. Don't recommend. But
That's too close.
no, 3:50 has the power hour stuff. So on the day it's amazing, but there's just not enough days it's amazing. I think that it's viable, but I digress. I'm a big advocate of this I haven't liked the volume in Asian as much, but even at 11 p.m. and 1 a.m. and 2 a.m., which is London Open, I like the concept of ready if we're still trying to push up, guys. We're trying, it's just slow. So
Yeah. And you see, this is another example of what I talked about when I was tracking on my spreadsheet. It retraced back to past the 50% line there. If it hits stop loss again, then that almost tells me I can use that 50% line. But Scott just reminded me of something. All these other open range breakout videos I've watched other than yours, most if not all of them say as soon as you enter either above or below those lines, they set their stop loss just on the other side of that line. And my logic is, well, all my things would lose. So I don't know where they're getting that logic from unless they're content taking these really micro small losses until they do get a good breakout. That's the only logic I can see in that.
Well,
I
you have to
like
take really, really small size trades. So you're okay to be cut up.
Yeah.
Okay, wait. So let's talk about the value of the hour. So if we look at ready, we already know the 4 hour candle theories, right? If this is obviously an outlier, but in this candle we pushed up. So at the time it was green, okay, and then we of course closed bullish or bearish, and we pushed up at the end. So a lot happens at the beginning and ends of candles, right? Of course, when we're trading like JGS, we're trading, with this middle trend right here. That's what we're doing. It's awesome. It's fun. But in terms of like taking a breakout, I think there's a lot of value in we're trying to push again, you guys. Um, I think there's a lot of value in just capitalizing on this, impulsive move. 4 hour is not a bad concept. We can definitely take something like that. Now we're pushing. Cannot with you people.
Yeah. Mine just hit stop loss. My rules say I should do an entry here, but it's 10 after 10 and it's past my trade time. so to speak.
I like trading at 10. I've been hating 9:30. And don't get me wrong, 3 to 4 out of the 5 days I win at 9:30, but that's not without a battle. But okay, back to the hour. So at this time, this hour candle forms and we take some of this move. Obviously, in the moment, it's more choppy than it looks right here, but you're taking that first initial push. Now, something like this, that wick might have been too much. So it might have pushed up enough to knock you out. But I like the idea of taking that first impulse, because even if it's the retracement to form the wick, I think there's power in that. I think there's power in, I mean, this is super simple, amazing, easy. Oopsie. But when this happens, this one might have been a loser. Again, depending on, and this is what I'm learning with automation, depending on how you have that set up. If you're taking 2 on the session, et cetera, there's a lot of power there. And here we go. We could have got out in profit-ish on the buy. We could have got out in profit-ish on the sell, and we are still just chopping around. 15-minute range, we tried to break out again, and we failed to continue. This is ES. NQ made another sweep. Did not have enough oomph to hold up there. Closed bullish, bearish. Nice, strong bearish close.
Even on the 15-minute JGS, the MACDs are not, excuse me, the EMAs are totally binded together. So that definitely leans towards consolidation, at least for the moment.
I know, right, guys?
Either way, there hasn't been like a big candle that's closed on either side of the EMAs to pinpoint some sort of direction.
Just, yeah, nothing that's confirming the move for any of this stuff, guys. I don't know what gold is looking like, but we get something that looks like, hey, this might be fire, but it doesn't stay that way. And gold, this is the 15-minute range. So gold, if you had taken the 2-minute breakout on gold, this was the trade of the day. Okay. This was it. This was perfect. That would have been your win. You would have been done. But since then, we've also chopped around here and just no follow through. So
In
we
a
just
few hours, Trump cabinet meeting. That's the only news I see, but it's not like scheduled, premeditated big news. But it's Trump speaking.
Trump's always big news. He could talk about like his laundry detergent and people would be like, oh my God, they like Tide. Somebody's eating Tide Pods. I don't
There
know.
goes Procter and Gamble.
I know. Guys, oh. Okay, well, I'm gonna hang out for a little while longer, answer any questions, comments. We just broke below the moving average cloud. MACD is not even confirming yet. We're just in a chop fest. If I were to be scalping or trying, I'd be definitely going for like 5 points. I'd probably be working really diligently to control my size, as in, cool, you want to be in this market, you're gonna have to be smart about it, and you need to be under risking a little bit. So limit your risk because the direction's unclear. And that's not something I had previously done or really worked on. So that's something I need to start including much more heavily. Because you can't sustain this. Well, I can't sustain this on most accounts. Most of them, I should say. See, and we're pushing right back up. So we tried to get below, formed a doji. And here we are again, still bullish. 5-minute candles closing with a nice strong doji, but there's no nothing.
We look at the move from the high of yesterday down to the low of today. We're hovering we're wicking off the 50% mark.
I wanted to see that today, Scott. Like I wanted to see us kind of do a fake out in either direction and take these lows, okay? Finish this a little bit here. Maybe hit the 277s even. I mean, that's the aggressive target.
Yeah, so I'm looking at this to this. We're right around the 50%.
That's one of the things we're building is that for automation
Mm-hmm.
is just 50% of, we're calling it splits. Today's behavior is just rude, Barbara. I agree. I totally agree. We're 15 minutes into this next hourly candle. This is the hourly time frame. So that whole 1 hour candle principle concept here, if this is to close bearish, what are we going to do? We're going to push up first and then come back down. And the whole principle of, how candles form and what they do, I think this it's a pretty big lot of, there's a lot that goes into that. This is a pretty big imbalance we've got here too.
It'd be that 4 hour trend line too, downward trend line that it would be targeting to touch if it was to move up. Because even back on, I think it was the 22nd, that's where we had that big move in New York with that candle, and then that was like right at the opening. Then it stalled, and then pretty much it's been a consolidation at that point, but it's never taken out that candle. So if it gets some momentum, it can try to push up forward in continuation to that move. And
Yeah.
that's on the 1 hour. If you look at the 1 hour on Nasdaq, you'll see that big candle that pulled up, but then it never really continued from there.
Because this is a really valid trend line, guys. This one right here. So just come up to take this, clear out this imbalance, take that, and then take the lows.
All right, I have another question.
Okay, come on out.
Look at this open range breakout. Once it crosses, like in this case, it just did it a second time over the green line. Once you put the trade in, at what point, or in my case, would I start trailing by candle? Would I wait until a candle closes above the green line and then start trailing? Or would I trail immediately after I put it in?
If you wanted to trade kind of close, and at the end of the day, it's going to be what works for you, your budget, your contract size, your psychology. I think the key point to this is simplicity and duplication, right? You
Right.
could be able to duplicate whatever you decide. So for me, charting back on all of our stuff, you have the option to trail by candle now. Okay. So like, let's say we had taken this as a buy. You can say, hey, look, if we break below our signal candle, I like that concept a lot. That signal candle, the entry candle, the trade is no longer valid, right? So we like that concept as a whole. Like that's a good concept.
Right.
You can also say, hey, wait, I'm going to wait until I get, in profit 1 ATR, which is kind of how we would have done things back in the FX markets. But that's hard to say. So which one of those two ways do you think you would like better?
Hold on. I'm actually placed a trade. Maybe I shouldn't have, but I just did. After it crossed it twice, I went ahead and did it. It's one of those things. It's got its good points and bad points again. I've been, as soon as I enter the trade, I start trailing by the previous candle. And then sometimes it burns you, sometimes it don't.
Well, Robert, we can't test or we can't get anywhere if we do things sporadically. So my only
Right.
request to you is my biggest and only request is duplication. So I don't care which method you use,
As long as I stick with one of them.
as long as you keep doing it. Like
Right.
that's the main thing.
Well, no, I've been doing it as soon as I make the entry, I start trailing by the previous candle. That's why I was asking if it would be better to wait until a candle actually closes above or below those lines before we start trailing.
I think you probably need the candle to close before I would start trail. Because remember, we've talked about this too, is like if I'm trailing in a buy, I'm not going to trail it by a bearish close. If I'm trailing in a sell,
Right.
I'm not going to trail it by a bullish close. I have to trail it in the opposite direction, right? So whatever that
Sure.
direction might be, I have no choice because if I'm trailing this move up, like let's say I just bought the lows, okay? I can trail by each bullish candle close, but this bearish one is already lower than this one, right? So
Yeah.
I'm out. I have to
What
keep doing only bullish only.
at the moment, the one, if I were to do it, the trailing one is 2 candles back now because it's the last one that closed in the same direction. If any of that makes sense. It's
Yeah.
like it's the most recent one that closed going up. The next one closed going down. So I skipped that one.
Yeah, but assuming you had bought this low, you would be out here anyways, and you could take a retest. But so going off the example that we gave verbally, you would have been out on this candle because you got a
Oh no.
bullish close.
In this case, I entered at 10-10 when it crossed the first time. Then it crossed the second time after that.
You gotta move, guys.
Of course, I'm on ES too. So
We've gotta move to the upside. It's choppy. If you're taking this, we really should be considering taking the micros without a doubt.
Yeah, I'm wondering. You may have some validity to what you're saying as far as with institutions and algorithms sort of changing the way that they're handling the opening. Because I wonder, I'd be curious to wonder how much the percentage of new traders into the future markets have been since, a lot of people who have been trading CDF, predominantly the retailers, have, sort of been forced into futures, for the better, but, it just is what it is. And there's a big influx of new traders now that are actually trading futures on a regular daily basis.
And that's a lot
Um,
of liquidity. So we are a digestible appetizer to them. And if we start realizing that like with a quickness, I think things are going to dynamically get better for us because, and that's one of the reasons I kind of don't want to look at 9:30. Now I know every YouTube video is viral that says, "Oh my gosh, this is all you need. It takes you 30 minutes." This is, I don't know, we probably have at least 8 examples in the last, month. I mean, if not more, that says no, no, 1 day a week, 2 days a week, maybe it does, but the rest of the time, it's no different. We started our class at what, 9 a.m., 9:50, a little before 9 a.m. Okay. We would have been in this move, caught some of it or lost, and that's okay. But we caught the momentum versus was the momentum. Like, I don't know if I'm saying that well, but yeah, we'll see. Because now what's the best course of action? If we're teaching and promoting not being on, and I think that's something I did do right is when I backed off of all the videos and the classes in IML for better and for worse, is I think YouTube is an asset. I think YouTube University is a free way to learn almost anything you want to sand a new dresser. I think it's amazing. But I also think it's completely toxic because we're constantly exposed. We're constantly, at any given time of the day, we're trading, we're staring at our charts versus, hey, like if I wasn't doing this, building this company, I would have had my trade, whatever time that was, 7-ish, okay, in this window, and caught this move to the downside, and then been done. So that was up enough on those accounts. I didn't need anything else. Don't have to look again until tomorrow. Like literally at all. If I don't want to, and I can work on the automation and work on this and another. But we're constantly exposed. And now what are you gonna do? Because I'm down on the day, 373. Okay. I can look for another position. I think I'll allow myself one more position, but I really cannot afford to like go on tilt and do that because it's such a bad. I didn't even know what tilt was until teachers.
oh yeah. And I meant that was one thing too that we didn't really get to highlight, but I meant to give you kudos for, I think it was our last week's session where we took a loss. It was one of the days where we did the chop was just everywhere. We bought, we sold, and it was just going all sort of directions. But you hit your 2 losses is my main point for the day, and you stood firm on you're not taking another trade. And I think that's the thing that we sort of lose sight of. of is that a lot of these YouTubers or anybody in particular who's made good money, especially on the prop firms where all those rules are sort of against you, or make it a little bit more difficult, I should say. Um, Having that discipline when you are having a day that you've taken losses, so you don't tilt or whatever, the market's not going anywhere, just, sort of reset and then come back fresh the next day. That's sort of the best thing. Like, no position is a position is the main thing that I think we should keep in mind.
Oh, 100%. No position is a position. We can quote that. Deciding not to trade is part of a strategy. Stopping after losing. And that's why I keep, and again, I made that spreadsheet for me. I mean, and I'm going to share it with you guys, but I made it for you guys too. But we have mathematical proof that says you're allowed to close in negative days, especially some of you guys. We know you're making more than this in a day. Okay. You're making more than 500 in a day because you're trading a lot, you're trading bigger size, you're holding longer, whatever the reason is. You don't have to get it right every time. You can literally be wrong. What is that? So this is 80% accuracy. Okay. That's what this one is. It's 80% accuracy. And this is 40% accuracy, I guess, technically speaking. 40% accuracy, and you can still be net positive. Support accuracy on the day, I mean, not on the trades. You can still be withdrawable. But now if you go on tilt, you cannot withdraw anything. In fact, you have to pay them again. That's the stupidest part. Paying them again is stupid. Stupid, stupid. But on that note, funding ticks is $50, which I honestly think is a good price. If I wasn't building everything I was trying to build out, I would probably only do like funding ticks and Blue Guardian just because the rules make sense. There's not a lot of if this, then that. There's not a lot of consistency mumbo jumbo. There's not a lot of, well, you did this or didn't do that. The withdrawal periods, the payouts, it just makes sense to me. It makes a ton of sense to me. 100%. Funding ticks, I think, is cool because unlike Apex, it's you don't have to pay that big activation fee. So if you're just looking for that really low barrier to entry kind of account, I will say that $50 account, you can only withdraw $1,000. So even if you did, let's say you arrived and you finally got it, you can never withdraw more than $1,000. So you pretty much have to permanently trade there forever. Because and that's how I was in the chat. I was like, wait, I already have this much equity in one account. So tell me, like, what happens next? Like, if I choose this method, what happens to the rest of it if I decided, hey, I just want to withdraw? They're like, yeah, no, you get $1,000 a week. I said, how many days? How many payouts? How many what? And they were like, yeah, no, just no. I said, okay, well. So in that regard, I think it's a good practice account. It's a good, I need a low barrier. I only want to spend 250 a month and I don't want to spend an activation fee when I finally get things right. So here we go. You know, what can I do? I think that's probably a good place to go. A very, very good place to go. That's it, guys. NQ probably to this upper trend line we had marked up from a few weeks ago. Okay. Please turn this off. If we close above this trend line, not just that imbalance, okay, because we're likely going to wick that. We've got 3 hours left on this candle, so this is the great candle to do it. If we close above this trend line body-wise, not wicks, okay, with full body, you can have a minimal wick. It's a 4-hour candle, but cool, we might be looking to come take out these highs and then fulfill the rest of this imbalance because there's more imbalances to the upside, right? Actually, there's a balanced price range. I love when people make things up and expect you to know them. Anyways, this is called a balanced price range. ICT's newest concept. I think it's Venom. But cool. Otherwise, I would just be looking to maybe hopefully come take this move to the downside. So we'll see. Right now, everything points up. We've got a good, what? I don't know how many points that is exactly, but a decent amount of points to the upside. And the hardest part is, I think you, me, and the next guy all need to kind of get a life and say, hey, look, whether you're up or down right now, you can walk away. You can say, I'm not going to trade anymore today. I'm done on the day. I know that if I don't be stupid today, I will or can be net positive at the end of the month. But if I get stupid today, and this whole like, well, forget it, I only got $500 left in this account, I'm just going to blow it. I'm just going to just do it and then I'll reset it. That's a stupid method. I don't care if you have 50 bucks left or 100 bucks left in that prop account. I would like to be the person who says, nope, we're going to edge this back up to the best of our ability. And if we can't, okay. But I do think it's worth trying. This is your hard-earned money. Please be smart with these accounts. And I'm not speaking to judge you. I'm speaking because I've done it. I'm speaking because prop rooms brought out a whole monster in me that I didn't even know I had. It's like, oh, really? And somebody needs some work to do, and that's okay. So, um, announcements. Dragonfly is going really well. We've got a couple people running more than six figures in live money. We've got a couple people doing some really incredible things, which is awesome. We've got a couple people who are withdrawing. I know Robert is doing mostly gold. I'm going to say again, I was never built this thing for gold, but um, obviously producing a lot of, remarkable gains. I talked to the developer yesterday, so here's what we're going to do for the automation. Right now, we have it to where it's working as expected. However, we didn't want to have the user have to copy and paste the command code from Pick My Trades. We wanted it to work without that. And we know it can be done, but it's not being done right now. So that's the main thing that we're waiting to see. We talked about it. We decided, hey, look, if we don't have that figured out, we're still going to release it as is on Friday. And I know this is never the best sales pitch, but here's the truth. This stuff is going to cost money, period. The prop firm is going to cost money. Pick My Trades cost money. I will send links and I'll get it all set up for you guys to where, hey, step one, step two, step three. It's all going to cost money. So for the love of God, start small, start with one symbol, start with micros, okay? Get familiar. You're going to fail. You're going to figure out things that you want built in. You're going to figure out things. It's 20 bucks. Yeah, Robert, it's not. But I want people to know that because, and Robert, I'm not going to name any names, but there are people who've spent 5, 10, 15, 20, $30,000 to get less results because of promises, right? And I'm hoping, and I know that our community isn't like that. So we're not charging $30. In fact, if you're a member of a 6FTC, a platinum, or a monthly member, you have access to this. So there's literally no fee in terms of our side. We're using this to build with you and for you. But just be prepared for that. Be prepared for what this will look like because, and you will have down days. We have everything built out for, hey, if you're down this much on the day, if you're down this much on the week, it stops trading. If you're up this much on the week, you're done. Once we've got every little bug and like little thing fixed out, what I'm going to be promoting is, hey, you've got 1-2% on the week, you stop trading. And sometimes it'll happen on a Monday or Tuesday. You're just done. Some days you're not. You're going to grind right through, and it is what it is. But I'd like to, because come on these 50K accounts, that's not bad. And you're not here for today. You're not trying to make $1 billion today. And you're just trying to do this to where, hey, at the end of the month, you've got two, $3,000 payouts or $2,000 payouts or $5,000 payouts. That's really all we're trying to do. No more, no less. Just, hey, you got your couple of payouts. And you do that lots of times. Is that worth the, I don't know, it's 20 or 40 bucks on Pick My Trades, 100 bucks, on Take Profit Trader, 50 on Funding Ticks, 150 or whatever, so you guys get the idea. There's a cost to this process. And to say otherwise is stupid, but I am incredibly excited. I know we're going to run into 100 things. Please do not start this trying to mirror 20 accounts because there's 100 things you don't know. And there's at least another 50 that I don't know either. Okay. There's no way around that. But I'm excited. I will please wait to sign up for that stuff. I'm going to send out an affiliate link for Pick My Trades. I'm going to list the 3 prop firms. Likely it's going to be Apex, Funding Ticks, and Take Profit Trader. I wish it could be Blue Guardian, but we're not there in terms of mirroring to Blue Guardian yet. So, and then once we have all that done, you guys will have the code on Friday. And on Friday, you're going to get a video, document that says, with links and everything, step 1, step 2, step 3. And you're not going to be able to set it up, very likely, unless I get it to you first thing in the morning. So you'll have all weekend to kind of get acclimated and get it all figured out. And then you'll have it start trading on Sunday. For preliminary speaking, just please start testing it. That's it. Try random times. Don't look for profit, look for process. Okay. Even if it costs you the $30 account with Apex, look for process. That's your only objective, is to look for the process, not the profits. And then, work on, hey, wait, this is the session I want to do. This is what I want to do. And then plan on doing it long term, because no results in 30 days are going to matter. You're looking for the longevity, and that's that. So, next announcement, and then Brika, I see your hand raised. Next Tuesday, Rosie flies back to Spain, so I will not be doing a live video, a class on Tuesday. Depending on how many tears are in my eyes on Wednesday, I might come live for you guys on Wednesday. But otherwise, next Tuesday I'm taking off. We're gonna do whatever it is she wants to do. Probably keep eating all the things, because that is all we have done is eat. Lots of eating. And I'm gonna say goodbye and cry and cry and cry and not be able to look at the computer. But she's gonna do great things. She is doing great things, and yeah. So those are all the announcements that I've got right now. Miss Brika, come on out.
Hello, hello, hello. Thank you, Jenny. Also, I was thinking what Jonathan said too. I was like so proud of you last week when you're like, this is not the market I want to trade in. So that was just awesome to see you you said talk the walk or walk the talk or whatever, you know. But just wanted to mention this. I just happened to get an email from FTMO that might be exciting. It came this morning. So if anybody has traded FTMO as a US person, check your email, because I'm thinking that they're trying to get back in the US space. And I always found that they had such a great reputation. I had a great experience with them before. So that would be really, really awesome if they get back in. So just wanted to share that, because that came out around 9:30 this morning.
Oh, that's awesome. That is awesome. Definitely check that out. I don't know much about, guys, this is my real first experience with prop firms. I never really played with them. I don't have any regrets, especially now. But we'll see.
I've read that FTMO is one of the best, if not the best one out there, and has been for a while.
Okay. Well, check them out. Do your things. Um, Otherwise, that's it. That's all the announcements, all the things. Otherwise, happy Tuesday. Remember, I am no longer doing Tuesday nights. I don't want to be in the markets in Asian, other than testing, which I'm kind of running to my computer every couple of hours to reset up new alerts to do, because I'm trying to get a lot of data right now. Not trying to get results, I'm trying to get process. I don't want to be manually trading in Asian. I don't think most of us should be personally. I think you should pick your couple of sessions, and Asian, if that is your session, you do you. But if you're trying to be there for that, and for pre-market, and for afternoon, and for like, I just think pick your one, preferably one. But if you need to be two, make it two, and then be done. Like, be done and walk away. So it's up to you though. So no live tonight. I am going to make a video on Dragonfly using some of the results that people have gotten, and just kind of do an intro. Here's what it is. Here's how it does. The good, the bad, and the ugly. And that's it. That's all I've got for today. So another red day in the books, but I guess we've had a really many years of good. I guess we're due some red. Never fun to talk about, but it is the truth. So there's that. There's definitely that.
Thank you, Jenny.
Thank you guys. Happy trading. Happy Tuesday. Take care and God bless.
All right. Send Rosie our love.
Yes, ma'am. I'm gonna miss her, but oh, she's doing such great things. She's gonna go see the world.
Yes.
And bye all.
Bye, guys.